So, good evening, everyone. So, shall we start the class session of technical paper writing? Good evening, Dheeraj. Good evening. Good evening, Sania. Good evening, Hemalata. Good evening, Fazil. Good evening, Yasir. So, Rupasri. Good evening. Shankar. Good evening. So, today I'm going to discuss about the overview of principles of technical writing. So, so before going on to this particular subject, let us understand how we need to write a paper and what is the things that which should include in the paper, everything. So in particularly in first unit, what is there is nothing but how to address each and every line and how to make understand for the user or for some other reviewer to read your paper and how good you are writing a paper. Okay. So everything that is there in this particular unit one, and unit two is it is completely based on your paper writing. So what will be the things? Title, abstract, objective, or literature survey, introduction, everything. So what we need to write, how we need to write. So everything which is there in unit two, and but whereas in unit one it is completely how your grammar should be and how you need to elaborate the sentence, how you need to how you need to write a sentence. All everything will be there. Okay. So before going on to this particular technical writing, so we'll be having different tasks in this particular technical paper writing. So one is descriptive style, which means name itself has the answer, descriptive. So explains what something is. For example, if someone is not coming to the class, so descriptive analysis says why he is not coming to the class, what is the reason behind it. Okay. So one more will be there in this particular technical paper writing. So instructional style. So instructional style is nothing but explains how to do something. For example, instruction. Name itself has the definition, instruction. So which means if I say you to read the unit one, you need to read. So in this particular style, there will be another type. So another one is nothing but third one is nothing but analytical style. So analytical name itself has analysis. Okay. So it may be graph type or it may be tabular type. It may be some other way, pictorial type. So which means if you see into that particular paper, you will be able to know, okay, this is the analysis the particular paper has done. Another one is nothing but persuasive style. Okay, which means it recommends a solution. Persuasive which is nothing but it recommends a solution. For example, if the digital campus of your college is not working properly, okay, so someone came with an idea, okay, such that he can recommend something. So which means he is giving completely novel idea to the research field. So which comes under persuasive style. So this is for the overview of technical paper writing. Okay, these are the four types. I'm again repeating the four types. One is descriptive style, another one is instructional style, another third one is analytical style, and the last one is something about persuasive style. So which means descriptive in the sense explains what something is, Instructional is in the sense explain how to do something. Analytical style in the sense explains results or data. So persuasive style in the sense recommends a solution. Okay. So is my audio clearly visible, audible, and if is my screen visible to everyone? Let me know such that I can proceed. Let me know in the comment section. Lahari, good evening. Mabi Sheikh, good evening. Bharati Sravani, good evening. Tony, Tonzi Kid, good evening. Shiva, good evening. So let me know, then I can proceed. So these are not in part of your syllabus, but you need to know, okay, what are the styles of writing a paper, okay? That's why I've been explaining all those four types. This is how you need to write the paper, okay? Deepika, good evening. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your confirmations. So can you increase the volume, sir? Okay, how? How can you do? Let me check with the mic. Now is that clear for everyone? Okay, let me proceed to the first topic of your unit 1. So clarity. Okay. In unit 1, the first topic is nothing but clarity. So clarity in the sense, so clarity, name itself has the answer, right? Okay. So name itself has the clarity. Clarity is nothing but it is a technical writing. In technical writing, it means presenting information so that reader, whoever who reads this particular paper that you have been written, he will be able to understand it very clearly. Okay, he'll be very easily is keen to understand the terminologies in a clear way. So it may be he may be understand your sentence quickly, he may be understand your sentence easily, and you may be he may be understand it correctly if your sentence is maintaining the clarity. Okay, this is the first thing, this is the basic thing. If you're writing a paper, if you're writing a sentence, if you're throwing a sentence, don't write blankly, write in a clarity way. That is the first topic of your unit 1. Okay, so why is clarity important? I have given some things in something in those on the slide. Please look into the slide. So technical documents are used to, so some technical documents are used to give instructions, explain process, present data and results, and support decisions. Okay, this is why we need very good, the technical documents are used to. So if your writing is not good, if you are giving an instruction, for example, come here, where to come, when to come, I'm not saying any time or I'm not saying any place, it gives it gives a confusion in your mind, right? So such type of things we need to mention them clearly. Come to me at 4 p.m. to let us say 401 or 402. So this gives a clarity to the student or for some other viewer, such that he can understand very clearly. So unclear writing can cause misunderstanding also, same that I have mentioned just now. So technical errors also can be happen. Even wrong conclusions may also, it may lead to wrong conclusions also. Okay. So this is why the maintaining clarity is very important. Okay. Now, characteristics of clear writing have been given here. So which is very simple. So clear technical writing is simple. We need to make the sentence very simple. We should not make it very grammatical. We need to make the sentence very simple and direct. It should be directed. So it should not be 2 or 3 lines. If you wanted to mention one point, you should not write 2 or 3 lines. In one line, it should be had done. Okay, direct and specific. If you are mentioning about anything, you need to be very neutral and very specific to that particular point, and it is logically organized. Okay, these are the characteristics of clear writing. So use simple and familiar words. See, if you look here, so unclear words, maybe I have listed some unclear words. For in particular place of utilize, you can use. Okay, in space of comments, you can use start. Terminate place slow, you can use end. Numerous, it may be, you may write it as very simple, many. Okay. So if you look here, the machine commence operation. It may, some other students who are not familiar with the grammar, or someone who are not familiar with these particular sentences or these particular words, they may lead or they may misunderstand and they may reject your paper also. That's why writing the technical paper with clarity is most important. So if you look here, the machine started operating. It can be easily understood by anyone. If you go to some other guy who's walking on a street, he can understand. If you know English, he can understand it very easily, right? But whereas this may cause some confusion when someone is reading your paper. That's why maintaining the clarity in technical paper writing is very important. So if you look here, I've been given some short and direct sentences here. So if you read this particular red marked sentence, if you see here, due to the fact that the server was not properly configured, it failed to respond in a manner that was expected. Okay. So if this is the sentence, okay, and I am writing short and direct way. If you look here, because the server is misconfigured, it did not respond as expected. Instead of writing all those things, I am writing direct and short sentence, which gives the clarity to the reader, and it make them understand very easily. Okay. So, and another thing is nothing but be specific. So, if you're talking about anything, for example, in Kurnool, there is high temperature, let us say. Instead of mentioning high temperature, you try to mention 90 Celsius. Okay. A long time ago, instead of mentioning this time, I mean, if a reader is reading your paper, he might think some time, right? Instead of mentioning all those things, you mention 45 minutes. So instead of mentioning only better performance, you try to mention the percentage such that the user or some other reviewer who is assigning your paper, who's reading your paper, may not mislead or may not mm, go or deviate from the paper. Such that, so that's why your writing should be in clarity way and also in direct and specific way. Okay. So prefer active voice. So to maintain clarity, you need to prefer active voice. Okay. So active voice clearly shows who performs the action. So if you look here, I'm given passive voice here. The report was written by the team. Okay. If you use active voice such that the reader understands, okay, they have done the work, the team wrote the report. So there is much difference in two sentence. In this passive voice and active voice, there is much difference. Okay. The text was conducted by engineers. Instead of that, you need to use active voice such as engineers conducted the test. So this makes the user, or this makes the reviewer who is reading your paper, or someone reading your paper, makes it very easy and understand it in very clear way. Okay. That is the main advantage to you to maintain the clarity. So avoid unnecessary jargon. If you look here, the system utilizes asynchronous bidirectional data streaming. Okay. So if a new user who is reading, who's not having that good background with English, may not understand what is asynchronous bidirectional. Instead of, if you write direct and specific way in clarity, the system sends and receives data at the same time. Instead of using this thing, if you write this, it will be very easy, right? So use technical terms only when your audience understands them. So you need to keep in mind that everyone does not know the perfect English. Okay. So someone are weak in English, someone are good in English. If you use this red line, if for the people who are good in English, they can understand. But who are poor in English, they may not understand that particular red blind sentence. Okay. So unclear sentences versus clear sentences. I have given here one examples. So the system had a problem. Which system? What system? What, which problem? It does not uh, it do not give a clarity for me to understand what is the problem behind it. So but if I write in a clear manner, the system crashed due to a memory error. So then I can understand, okay, this is the problem. So that is why the system has the error. Okay. So the results were better. Changes were made to improve performance. What results? Which changes? Why we need to make change? So if I read these unclear sentences, I may get this type of questions. But if a clear sentence, if you write a clear sentence in such a way that if you look here, accuracy improved by 12%, updating the software reduce loading by 3%, 3 seconds. Okay, this gives me a clear validation and clear understanding in my mind. So clear sentences makes your paper strong. Okay, now clarity checklist I have given here. Before you are submitting a paper, or before you are submitting any document, ask, are my sentences are short and direct? That is the first question you need to get. Okay, did I avoid vague words, which is nothing but just now I've been used, right? So did I include specific data or measurements? Okay. So which means instead of saying high temperature, use 90 degrees. Okay. That gives the clarity for the user or some other people who is reading your paper. Is it clear who performed each action? Can the reader understand it on the first reading? So that is what the main thing you need to focus on. If you are submitting a paper, the reader should understand it very clearly. Okay. Now moving on to precision. Name, you know all these things: precision, recall, accuracy, everything, right? So same way in this particular technical writing also we'll be using. So precision means using exact words, exact data, and exact meaning. Okay, we are not deviating from the subject. We'll be using only the words that is there in the subject. We are using only the data that we have performed. We are using only the exact meaning of the sentence. Okay, so why precision is important? If you look here, in technical writing, we use measurements, we use instructions, we use results, we use specifications. Okay, so we need to include all those things if your paper want to be accepted. Okay, or if your sentence want to be clear. So these type of things will be mandatory. So lack of precision can lead to misinterpretation, technical errors, and safety risks. Okay, this is what about the precision. So clarity versus precision, if you look here, clarity is nothing but if the sentence is clarity is having clarity, which can be easy to understand, which can avoid us the confusion, which is use which uses simple language. If you wanted to write a sentence in clarity, but whereas precision, which means you are talking with the proof, that we call it as precision. So exact and specific. So there can't be any other thought. If you write your paper in clarity also, they may understand or they may misunderstand also. But whereas when you write with exact and specific things, it is very clear. So it uses accurate data and terms. Okay, good technical writing requires both clarity as well as the precision. Okay. So if you look here, use exact numbers and measurements. So the temperature was high. Instead of mentioning that sentence, I need to mention the temperature reached 92 degrees such that a user or some other people can understand it very easily. Okay. So the file is large. Instead of saying how large it is, so we can mention it in number. So the file size is 2.4 GB, such that user gets some idea. The reader gets some idea on what you are mentioning. Okay, the process took a long time. Instead of saying that long time, you need to mention 3 hours 15 minutes, such that he will get an idea. Okay, this is how the exact numbers and measurements makes the user and makes the difference of the paper. Okay. Now choose correct technical terms. That is the main important thing. So if you're writing a paper perfectly, then your English will be perfect. Okay. That is simple. That as simple as simple. Okay. If you write the paper clearly, then your English will be increased and English will be fluent. But if you use ChatGPT or another AI tool, it may not boost you. So try to write the technical paper writing with ease and learn the English. Okay, you try to use this clarity, precision terms. Okay, such that it will be very easy in if you go in future also, it will be very easy for the communication also. Okay, so if you look here, weak words, thing. Instead of thing, I can use device, module, component, such that if I am mentioning, instead of mentioning him, if I say they, we, so it cannot be pointed towards a specific person. So you need to mention it as component or module. or device problem. So what is that problem? Instead of mentioning the word problem, you need to mention memory leak, software bug, power failure, such that that problem will be addressed by the reader, and it may not lead to misunderstandings. Okay. Instead of using the word change, we'll be using configuration change, firmware update. So this gives the clarity. Okay. So another example I have given, there was a problem in the system. In which system, what problem? So I'm not able to understand it, right? So the system crashed due to the memory leak. Now I'm able to understand it. Okay. This means if your system, if you are giving the words accurately, if you are using these terms in a specific way, the reader also gets understand it very quickly, and he may not irritate. That is what the main agenda of the technical paper writing. So avoid general terms. If you look here, so avoid vague words such as very, many, some, large, small, fast, slow. So the system is very fast. Instead of using these vague words, use the system processes 500 requests per seconds. So instead of these particular vague word, we'll be using the numbers, okay, actual numbers, such that users also able to understand it very clear. Even you people, if I mention only this particular word, you are not able to understand in the class. Okay. By giving this example, you may understand it very easily. What is happening? How? Okay, okay. In this particular manner, we need to write. So you are getting overview. You'll be getting overview. That makes you in a clarity mind. It won't make you a It won't make you to sit in a confusion state. Instead, it gives the clarity. So be precise with time and frequency. Instead of mentioning soon, you mention time. So which will be precise. Instead of mention regularly, mention every 24 hours, which means it is precise, which means accurate. So instead of mentioning occasionally, you mention twice per month. So which gives the user, or which gives the reader to understand it very clearly. Okay. So another thing, avoid over general statements. If you look here, this method always gives good results. Okay, instead of using this thing, I am writing the same sentence with precise in accurate way. So if you look here, this method improved accuracy by 18% in our test. So instead of just mentioning good results, if I mention all those things, it it may not lead for misunderstands. Okay. Words like never, always, never, all, none are rarely accurate in technical context. If you are writing a technical paper, this may cause you the errors. Okay. That's why don't use these particular terms. Now, imprecise versus precise. I am going through the syllabus of Unit 1. So these are nothing but these are the topics of Unit 1. So imprecise is nothing but, so the battery lasts a long time. Instead of mentioning last long time, I am writing the battery lasts 8 hours under continuous use. Okay. The network speed is slow. Instead of mentioning this, I am writing the network speed dropped to 2 Mbps, such that a user will understand, okay, this is the situation. Okay, this is how accurate the paper is. The device is lightweight. Instead of mentioning lightweight, what I am doing is nothing but the device weighs 1.2 kg. Okay. Now precision checklist. You need to, if you want a precision, so this is the things you need to address. These are the questions you need to get. Did I include numbers where possible? Even high temperature, you need to include 90 degrees. So in this particular terminologies, did you include the numbers or not? You need to cross check it. Did I replace vague words with specific terms? Instead of using a big words, I need to use a specific terms. Okay. Did I use correct technical terminology or not? You need to address this. Did I avoid extra exagerations like always or never? Okay. You need to check them. Can the reader measure or verify what I wrote? So if you are writing with clarity and precision, the user will get understand it very easily. Now, the next topic comes is nothing but coherence. So, don't think this is related to quantum. Okay. So, coherence here means that ideas in a piece of writing connected and flow connected and flow smoothly from one to the next. So if you are right, if you are what I say is nothing but flow means for example, if you take the model of machine learning, initially you take the data and then you pre-process the data. Then what happen after pre-process? You go for future selection. Then you go for model evaluation metrics. Everything happens in a flow, right? So coherence is also same thing that is doing in technical paper writing. So everything should be in connected and everything should go one after another. Okay, so you can't say you can't go you can't write conclusion in introduction and introduction in conclusion. That removes the connectivity. So instead of doing all those things, you try to maintain the connectivity. That is what the coherence is in technical paper writing. So now what is logical sequence? Okay. So the name itself has logical sequence, meaning arranging ideas in clear and sensible order. Okay, if one after another. So if I say, if you come to my cabin, rule number wise, instead of the rule number wise, uh, based on the class environment, you are coming anyway. Let us say if I talk, if I want the first rule number to come, but another rule number comes, let us say 100th rule number comes, it makes me very irritating, right? Same way in technical paper writing also, s- the same thing happens. If you are not following the logical flow, the reader or the reviewer who is reading your paper may misunderstand the paper completely. That makes the bad impression on your paper. Okay. So now why this is important for students? So if you look here, in assignments and lab reports, teacher look for organized thinking. So every lab should be done in organized way, one after another. Lab 1, lab 2, lab 3. If it is not like that, if you are placing lab 10 experiment at lab 1 and if you are placing lab 1 experiment at lab 8, it may not be good. Okay. So that may cause you the reducing of marks also. Okay, logical flow improves so understanding. If you write experiment one by one, it will improve the flow and it will, you may gain the marks also. Okay, now if you see here poor coherence, what it does mean. So the experiment was successful. Directly I've gone for conclusion. Okay, the equipment was arranged on the table. Okay, if you see, if you look the sentence, if you read the sentence, the result showed an increase in temperature. Okay, we used a thermometer to measure heat. The power supply was switched on. So here, if you look into the particular example, events are not in order. Ideas jump back. Okay, if you look here, the experiment was successful. You need to write mention at the last. The equipment arranged on the table. You need to mention at the first. So this is called poor coherence. Okay. So now logical sequence, improved coherence. If you look here, the equipment was arranged on the table such that, and the thermometer was connected to measure temperature, which means the sentence is very clear. So after switching on the power supply, the temperature began to rise. Okay. So the result showed a steady increase in temperature, indicating that the experiment was successful. So in the before example, which is poor coherence, you we have been written the experiment was successful in the first sentence itself. Okay. So this may lead for miscommunication and this may lead the reader uh, to irritate. Okay. So if you look here, setup, we need to explain first. Then what the things you have done. Then what is your observation? Then the result. This is how the logical sequence looks like in research paper also. I've been given one example for your understanding here. But whereas in paper also, you need to mention the same way. Now use logical structures. If you look here, if you wanted to explain a process, then step 1, after step 2, then after step 3. If you are describing an experiment, then you need to explain the setup, then you need to explain the procedure, after that results, then at the last conclusion. If we are explaining a problem, first we need to explain what happened, what is the cause of the problem, then what is the effect of the problem, then what is the solution of the problem. So this is how the logical structures looks like in technical paper writing. So use transition words. If you look here, adding information, instead of using this, you use this. Additionally, furthermore, showing result. Instead of that, therefore, as a result, thus, you need to use this such kind of words. Showing contrast. Instead of using that, you may use however. On the other hand, giving examples. For example, for instance, by using these terminologies, it will keep you, it will boost your paper in most of the ways. Okay. If you read out the example that I mentioned here, the system was overloaded, it stopped working. Instead of writing this, I am writing in a possessive way. Okay. The system was overloaded. Okay. As a result, it stopped working. So it gives a clarity, it gives a precision. The sentence looks very easy and the sentence look very confident. For a user who is reading the paper, okay, he may think, oh, oh, how good the sentence is. That is how you need to write the paper. That is how you need to mention the technical paper writing. Okay. Now, one main idea per paragraph. So each paragraph should focus on one central idea. If you are writing a paragraph, if you are writing a method paragraph, you need to mention only steps that you have followed in the experiment. If you are writing the results paragraph, you need to write what are the findings of the project that you have done. So if you are writing about mentioning about a conclusion paragraph, you need to stick on to what what is the conclusion that you are mentioning in the at the end of your paper. So you should not deviate. If you are writing the method paragraph, you should not include results. If you are writing results paragraph, you should not include methods. If you are writing conclusion, you should not include method or results. Okay, that is how you need to write. Now repeat key terms for coherence. If you look here, the software was updated. Okay, the program improved, the system work better. Instead of writing this much sentence, okay, what I am writing is nothing but the software has updated, same as it is as above. But what I am doing is nothing but I am integrating the two sentences. If you look here, the software processed data faster, comma, reducing system delays. So, which means it gives a clarity, it gives a user a better in a think to think in a better way, right? Now, one example I given here. So, this is how you need to write. I'm not reading out all those things, but better when you give the class notes, you try to read out such that you will be understand. You will be able to understand. Okay, how we need to write a technical paper. What is the terms we need to do? What is the things we need to update? Okay, so you read it in your when you are reading out for exams. Now, logical order in lab reports. So, wrong order. We recorded the readings. The apparatus was assembled. The experiments proved Ohm's law. The voltage was increased. This is the wrong order. Instead of that, first, the correct order is nothing but the apparatus was assembled. The voltage was increased gradually. We recorded the readings. The results confirmed Ohm's law. So, this is how, in the same way as you followed the lab, you need to do the same way in technical paper writing also. You should not go as per your knowledge. You should go in a technical way such that everything records in a clarity way, right? Now, coherence checklist. So, whether you are maintaining the coherence in your paper or not, this is the checklist you need to, this is the questions you need to ask to your mind. Do my ideas follow a clear order? Whether your ideas are following clear order or not. Okay. Does each paragraph focus on one idea? Okay. Methodology should focus on methodology, results should focus on results, and conclusion should focus on only conclusion. Did I use transition words? Okay. Do sentence connect smoothly or not? Can the reader follow my reasoning step by step? This is the questions you need to ask yourself when you are writing a technical paper writing, whether the coherence is followed strictly or not. Right? Now, the next topic is nothing but ambiguity. Okay. So ambiguity occurs when a sentence has more than one possible meaning. Okay. So if a sentence has having, if someone is reading the sentence giving the two meanings, there comes the ambiguity. So ambiguous writing can lead to misunderstanding of instructions also, confusion in explanation, and loss of marks in exams also. Even a clear sentence can be ambiguous if they are not they are not specific enough. So that is what you need to make the correction. So if you look here, unclear pronouns. So if you see here in this particular example, when the sensor was connected to the board, it failed. So here I am getting the two meanings. Okay. What failed? The sensor or the board? So it is nothing but this type of sentence is called ambiguous or ambiguity sentences. Okay. So, but what I am doing instead of giving the reader confuse to and making him confused, what I am doing, I am writing in a clear way. When the sensor was connected to the board failed. Now I am getting only one meaning and I am getting only one understandings. That is nothing but okay. When the sensor is connected, only the board failed. But whereas here in an incomplete sentence, when the sensor was connected to the board, it failed. I am getting two meanings, right? So this type of sentences is called ambiguity sentences, right? Now, ambiguous word order. If you look here, the technician repaired the machine with hammer. So, which means whether the technician used a hammer or the machine had one. So, which gives the two meanings. So, instead of giving the reader in a confused state, what you need to mention is nothing but the technician used a hammer to repair the machine, which means it gives the clarity, right? So, good evening, Sarfaraz. Good evening, Mukit. So till this particular point, is that clear? Let me know whether you are listening or not. Just I can't go as a flow. I want you to utilize. For you people, I'm making this all those things. Okay. Is the content clear? Is that able to, you are able to understand the content or not? Let me know. If not, also please let me know in the comment section such that I can change my version to make you people understand. Clear. Thank you, Shankar, for the confirmation. Still, others also please respond. So, don't think it as a regular class. It is out of the syllabus, out of box. So, be interactive and be participative. So, sitting calmly can't do anything, right? If you're having any doubt, let me know in the comment section. It is not a class. It is not a. It is not. I can't point anyone, right? So, thank you for the confirmation, Rupasri, Manasa, Sairam. Thank you. So ask others also to join. Osama, thank you. The main agenda is nothing but in the exam point of view are not clear. That's why I'm doing all these efforts. Deepika, thank you for the confirmation. Shankar, thank you. So let me go through the slides. So missing punctuation. So if you see here, let's test a device, the device engineers. So are we testing engineers or the device? So it gives me the two meanings. So here if I write with good punctuation, let's test the device, comma, engineers. Okay, which gives only the single meaning. Now the system responded quickly. How quickly? So I need to use clear validation sentence here. I need to write with the numbers. Okay, the system respond within 2 seconds. So which gives the clarity for the reader also. So I'm making it fast because the time is running. Yeah, one more unit also there. So that's why I'm going fast. If you are reading, if you go through the syllabus, if you go through the class note that I'm giving here, you will be able to easily understand easily. Okay. So unclear comparisons. If you see here, the new professor is faster. Faster than what? The new professor is 30% processor, sorry, not professor. Processor is 30% faster than the previous model, which means it gives the clarity. It gives the clarity for the user. So don't do unclear comparisons. So this example, please read out in the when you are going for the examination point of view. So this is also easily understandable. So how to avoid an ambiguity? So replace unclear pronouns with specific nouns. So place descriptive phrases near the words they describe. Use proper punctuation. That is the must. That is the basic thing you need to do when you are writing a technical paper writing. Provide exact details instead of general terms. Okay. Reread sentences to check for multiple meanings. Okay, you if you write a sentence, you read it once such that it gives the clarity. Okay, now ambiguity checklist. This is what you need to check whether the ambiguity is occurring or not in your paper. Does each pronoun clearly refer to one noun? So can any sentence have more than one meaning? Are comparison clearly stated? Did I include necessary punctuation or not? Are instructions impossible to misunderstand? So this you need to check. This is the checklist for ambiguity. Now, the next thing is nothing but repetition. So repetition means stating the same idea multiple times without adding the new information, which means in the examination, if I ask some question, you'll be writing the same points again and again, again and again, again and again. It irritates the faculty. Okay. The same way in technical paper writing also, you should not mention the same idea multiple times. Don't do that when you are writing the technical paper writing. Okay. So if you see here, in the exam point of view, you'll be writing this like this only. So the experiment was successful. You have been concluded that. But again, the experiment gave good results. Okay, done. The gave was successfully okay, was enough. But again, you said that okay, gave good results. The experiment showed positive outcomes. So I think you are the artist in this particular point of views. Okay, for in this repetition point of view, students are the artists and the faculty are the irritators. Okay, so the experiment was instead of writing this particular sentence, you will be writing you are writing the sentence in elaborative way. So instead of writing in such way, okay. So Rajesh, thank you for the confirmation. Now, what happens? Repetition. If you are doing the repetition in the technical paper writing, is nothing but so the same point is restarted in different words. The a sentence repeats what is already clear. Multiple adjectives repeat at the same idea, which means the reader gets irritation. Okay, again and again you are mentioning the same point. Again and again you are mentioning the same point, which make the user very irritating. Okay, so avoid vague language. So vague language uses general words that lack clear meaning. So if you look here, some of the vague words, so very, many, some, a lot, if these all comes under vague words. So to avoid, if you avoid this, the paper will be very clear. Okay. So this I'm not giving, I'm not speaking out. You try to understand. So repetition with plus vague language. If you see here, there are many kinds of problems in the system, and these problems cause many issues. The same thing you are giving again and again. So if it is written in this particular way, the system experience memory errors and network failures which interrupted operations. It will be very clear. But instead of mentioning that, you are doing repetition, and as well as you are using vague language, which gives the irritation for the user, and which makes an bad impression on you people. Okay. Now, so I'm not reading out all those things. So, so how to avoid repetition? So combine similar sentences. So remove unnecessary adjectives and avoid restating obvious information. Express each idea only once. You should not go for repetition. You should not think that you are writing exam in the mid or semester. You should think it is completely different. Technical paper writing is completely different. It is not similar to your mid exam or sem exam. Repetition, your professor can read, but as a reviewer, they may not be comfortable with your repetition. Okay. So how to avoid vague language? So replace general terms with specific terms. So please read out these. I'm not reading all those things. We are running out of the time. So checklist of this repeating and vague language. So did I repeat the same idea unnecessarily? You need to check the verify the paper. Did I use vague words like very, many, good, bad? Okay. Can I replace general terms with specific details? Did I combine sentences that say the same thing? So these are the checklist you need to check. Now, does highlighting findings mean? So, what does this highlighting finding mean? So, highlighting finding means clearly presenting your main results so that reader can easily understand. Okay. For example, if someone, for example, digital campus is not working properly, so if someone comes with an idea and he'll be writing paper on the digital campus, he need to highlight his idea. How he has been conquered the error, how he has overcome the specific error. So that is where this particular thing will come into the picture, highlighting what you have been found, what bug you found, and how you are addressing that bug. So everything should be highlighted. Okay. Now I am not reading out this also. So way to highlight findings. So findings are usually presented in result section. Okay. So the bug that you found, that you need to mention in result section and conclusion section. And also you need to mention in abstract. And you need to showcase that the bug, how the bug has been done. Okay. So, someone texted me that explain how the questions are asked. Questions are nothing but the same way. So, how to write a technical paper? What will be the terms will be used in technical paper? What are the things that you need to process when you are writing a paper? Means you need to mention clarity, precision. Repeat it. You should not repeat it. You should not repeat the many sentence. You should not use vague language. We should not use adjectives which means which gets two meanings. So the things that you need to mention it very clearly if the question asks. So I will give a brief explanation if possible tomorrow or day after tomorrow in Google Meet. I won't go for this particular session. So in that thing I will be mentioning how this technical paper, how the questions will may come also. Okay, no issues. So use clear statements. So I'm not reading out this. If you, I will send this class notes so that you will be able to understand it very easily. So use numbers and evidence. So this is the most important thing. So if someone asks a question like what we say, so how to write a paper with let us say some way. So you need to write all those things. So we need to mention them. We need to write the paper in clarity way, precise way. Use numbers and evidence. You should not do the mistakes like repetition and vague words. Okay, so everything you need to mention. Okay, use tables and figures. It gives the analysis. So that in the start of the class, I've been mentioned analytical style. So this all comes under analytical style because you are mentioning, you are giving your results in analysis way. So I got 90% accuracy. Instead of saying 90% accuracy, you mention the graph so that you viewer, anyone who's viewing can be understandable. So key put key findings first. So instead of may not highlighting your if you won't highlight your work that you have done, or if you won't highlighting the things that you have done, it may cause you the error also. So that's why you try to highlight your work finding. You try to highlight your project that you what you found, such that you try to keep it first. Okay, explain why the finding matters. Okay, so the system reduced use if you see here, the system reduced energy by 12%. Okay, Instead of that, you mention it very clearly. So the system reduced energy use by 12%. But how? Showing that the new design is more efficient. This is how you need to highlight your new paper. Okay. So I am not explaining this also. I am not explaining this also. So checklist for this particular topic. Did I clearly state my main results or not? Okay. Did I include numbers or evidence or not? You need to check it. Are key findings easy to locate or not? Did I explain why the findings matter or not? Can the reader understand results without searching or not? So these things can be addressed by using this particular topic. Okay. Now, what are limitations? So limitations, if you see, if you lead the technical paper writing in that particular way, limitations in the sense name itself has limitations means the weakness. So if someone is digital campus, what is the limitation for the digital campus? It may not open if someone, if you are opening at a time, when in point of results, when you are opening at a time, it may lag or it may crash also. That is the limitation for that particular digital campus. Okay. So same way, limitations, you mention the limitations of existing work, and if you try to use the evidence of the new proposed work of your project, it gives or it boosts your paper. Okay. So in, for example, let us say, instead of let us say I can give one example. Digital campus is crashing when the many users are logged in. So what I am doing, another, I'm doing same way, same digital campus, but when hundreds or thousand people log at the same time, it is not crashing. So the existing paper is nothing but you write the digital campus was there. So digital campus was created by so and so. So which means the drawback of the digital campus is this, and then mention your paper that we have addressed this drawback such that even 1,000 users or 10,000 users logging at the same time, it is not crashing. So that is how you need to mention your work. Okay. So why discussing the limitations is important? So if you are not discussing the limitations of existing work, the user or the reader may not understand how good your work is. Okay. So that may cause the misunderstanding of the paper also. That may cause the rejection chance also. That may increase the rejection chance also. That's why discussing the limitation is most important in in technical paper writing. Okay. So common types of limitations have been mentioned here. Limited sample size, measurement errors, time constraints. For example, if you're logging into the digital campus, it is taking much time. So which comes under time constraint. So if you are seeing the attendance, it is deflating. Once it is showing 60, another time it is showing 30, which comes under measurement errors. Limited samples, and the sense 1,000, only 100 users can log in at a time. After beyond 100, the system crashes. So environmental conditions, during the some environmental conditions also it should work. Assumptions made. So these are the limitations. Okay. So limited sample size. So study use only 10 samples which may not represent all conditions. So this is how if you see here, only at 100 people if 100 people can log in, so the other 900 students may suffer. So that is how you need to mention. Okay, 10 the 100 is nothing but your digital campus, which is old digital campus. The new digital campus is nothing but which handles all the students which are who are present in the college. So measurement errors, if you see here, minor errors may be occurred due to instrument calibration limits. Okay, these are the sentences I have been given. So you read out all those things. Okay. So I'm not explaining this also. I'm not explaining this also. Use phrases for limitations. So if you see here, so use this type of sentences when you are emphasizing or when you are highlighting your work. So the study, you try to mention the past work by using these sentences. The study is limited by. Okay. So the digital campus is limited only for 100 users, not for 10,000 users. Okay. The sample size was small. Measurement errors may be occurred. Results may not apply to. Further research is needed too. So these type of sentence create or make the reader enthusiastic. Okay, what is happening next? What has done newly? So this creates an clear impression on you people. Okay. So how to represent limitations properly? So be honest but not overly negative. For example, uh, when you are proposing the new digital campus, don't be very harsh to the old digital campus. Okay, just mention the some drawbacks of the digital campus. Don't mention this is completely waste, this is useless. So this may cause some distraction of the paper also. So mention limitations after presenting results, explain how they affect conclusions, suggest future improvements or research. So this type of things you need to address. So limitation checklist that I've been given here. So I'm not reading out. So you please go through when when I give this class notes. Now next topic comes is nothing but what is hedging. So hedging means using cautious language when you are not completely certain about a claim. So let me explain with an examples. Okay, hedging makes writing more scientific. Okay, hedging shows awareness of uncertainty. Hedging prevents hexaggerated one or overconfident claims. So if you see here, one uh, the thing I've been given here, so this proves that instead of too strong, you use hedged version. This suggests that, but the same meaning. Okay. So hedged version means, for example, if some student, if I say some student to get up and say the answer, so he may say or not say, but the thing is, whenever I see the students, okay, who is confident, he may be hanging up such that I need to concentrate on him. So he is nothing but overconfident. Instead of that, if you sit properly, if you sit calmly or disciplined way, that disciplined or calm way is called as hedged version. That too strong is nothing but whatever I can do. For example, if there is exam, you'll say I will be getting 30 out of 30, but that fellow won't get zero also. Okay. So that instead of using that particular sentences, I may if we say, okay, I'm trying for 30. So it is not overconfident, but is trying to convey the same message. Okay. This shows that instead of using this type of sentence, this indicates that this will happen. Instead of saying that this is likely to happen, this is best method. Instead of saying that this appears to be an effective method, this makes your model not to your paper not too confident, not too overconfident, but it is a hedged version. Okay. Now I'm not explaining this also. Now that comes next topic, academic criticism. So academic criticism means evaluating previous work politely and objectively. So it involves pointing out differences or limitations using evidence, not personal opinions. If you are having any grudge on me, don't just you making me bad. Make me bad using evidence. That is what this academic criticism says. Okay. So bad versus good academic criticism. If you see here, instead of mentioning the previous study was wrong, you need to mention the previous study may be overlooked the effect of temperature variation. The results differ from earlier findings, possibly because the study used a large sample size. So instead of mentioning that that the paper was waste, the paper was not good, so you need to mention in polite way. Okay, I'm not using all those things. So you need to combine hedging and criticism also. This is what the sentence that combines hedging and criticism. Use phrases for hedging. So these are the phrases that you need to use for hedging. So use phrases for academic criticism. This is how you need to you need to use when you're writing a technical paper writing. So the checklist for hedging and criticism. So this is what the checklist. Did I avoid absolute words like always, never, proves? So did I use cautious language or where needed? Did I criticize previous work respectively? Did I support criticism with reasons or evidence? So this is the checklist you need to go with. So now comes the main topic, plagiarism. So plagiarism means using someone else's words. For example, if you are copying my content, so that is plagiarism. Okay, without proper giving the proper credit. If you are copying my content by not mentioning any copyright disclaimer, may cause you the problem. Okay, but when you are writing the paper, if you are using the words the same words same as the paper that was in air that was early, so which means it gives the plagiarism when you check when you check in Turnitin, it gives the plagiarism. Okay, so you need to avoid the plagiarism to get a good impression. So types of plagiarism. So there will be three types of plagiarism. One is direct plagiarism, which means you are directly copying the text from the other paper and pasting here. Another one is nothing but patchwork plagiarism. You are changing some words of the previous paper. Another one is nothing but idea plagiarism. You are copying the same idea of the previous paper. So these types of plagiarism may affect your paper also. Don't do this type of plagiarisms when you are writing a technical paper writing. So until this point, is that clear? Let me know in the comment section. Is that clear? Thank you for the confirmation, Mobi. Mobashek, Mobishek. Okay, thank you. So I've been giving the examples here. Another important terminology is nothing but paraphrasing. So if the same sentence is there also, you need to do paraphrase, which means the same sentence but difference meaning. That we call it as paraphrasing. Okay. So bad versus good paraphrasing. Okay. Technical writing emphasizes clarity and accuracy also. So when you are doing the paraphrasing tool, when you are using the paraphrasing tool, it may create some what do you say, some errors for the users who are reading the paper also, because the consistency and the fluency will be missed when you are paraphrasing much words. Okay. It will be used vague terminologies also. So it may cause you the bad impression. Okay. So this example, please read out in when I give the class notes. So quotation marks, use quotation marks when. So exact wording is important. Then you use quotation marks. Use paraphrasing when we required paraphrasing is nothing but explaining in your own style. You need required paraphrasing. So the phrase is unique. So in those situations, the quotation should be used, and the simplifying complex ideas, you need to use paraphrasing. Okay. So now why plagiarism is serious? So nowadays, so every paper when you are writing a technical paper, so I think you have been started the rewriting of the paper. So when you are rewriting the paper, these are all the things you need to go through. Plagiarism, so that clarity, precision, okay, vague words, repetition should not be there. So all these are one side, and the plagiarism is another side. Because if the plagiarism is more, it may cause you the instant rejection. Even they won't read also the paper. They will be rejected. It will be rejected instantly. So you need to avoid the plagiarism. So how to avoid the plagiarism? So always cite the sources. If you are using my content, you need to cite me. You need to give the credit to me. Okay, that such that it avoids the plagiarism. Paraphrase using your own sentence structure. If you are reading my paper, then you need to write by you will be getting some idea from my paper. You need to write by your own. Okay. Use quotation marks for exact words. Okay. Keep track to references while researching. So this is what about unit 1. So is that clear for everyone? Unit 1 is done. Let me go through unit 2. It won't take much time. It may not take more than 15 minutes. So before going on to that, so please let me know, is that clear? for everyone. So ask your friends also to join, because unit 2 is most important thing, because everyone is not understanding what is this, what is that. So in unit 2 it will be pakka clear. So till now I've been teaching what you have, what are the instructions you need to take when you need to write the technical paper writing. What are the instructions you need to follow when you are writing the technical paper writing. So the thing is, so what is a technical paper writing, which is completely in unit 2. So that's why I want everyone to utilize this session, because I'm not making for my self growth. I'm making for your understanding, better understanding. So please ask everyone to join and utilize the session. So should I go for unit 2? So please comment unit 2, such that I will go for the second unit. Please answer in the comment section. Thank you for the confirmation. Rupasri, Usama, Deepika, thank you for the confirmations. So let me walk through the unit 2. So unit 2 is completely the core. Okay. Unit 2. So I will give 1 minute time for everyone. So ask your friends also to join. So make as soon as possible. Make do CRs or other people who are there in the live session. Please ask your friends to join, because unit 2 gives the complete brief idea. If you know unit 2, then you can write anything in technical paper writing. You can write the paper also very clearly. Okay. So let me start the unit 2. So which is nothing but a complete what will the contents will be there in the technical paper writing. I've been explained with a workout example. Okay. So let us analyze a situation. Okay. Student seems less attentive when in class when they use mobile phones. That is what my research is. That is what the project I am going to working on. So what the main idea is nothing but I need to prove it. So is that is my statement, or is my problem statement is worthy? Is my problem statement is correct or not? I need to prove. Okay. So what I will do is nothing but I will be collecting, I will be seeing all those data, I will be doing all those experiments, and I will be analyzing, and I will be writing as the paper. Okay. So some are there in other classes also, not no issues. So some classes are going in parallel. So now, so what is the problem? What is my problem is actually. So in classrooms today, students keep their mobile phones on their desk. That is what the main concern. So we often notice students looking down frequently, slower response to questions. By using mobile phone, this will be the causes. Reduced participation. If I ask any question, if I ask any answer to respond, the participation may be low. Okay, lower quiz performance. Okay, so these are the causes of usage of phone in the classroom. So are mobiles really reducing the concentration? That is what I need to work. So we are not sure. Maybe yes, may not be yes. So we want evidence, right? So that curiosity is research begins. So that is how you need to think. That is where you need to analyze. That is where you need to dig the problem. So now you are getting, you got an idea. Then what you need to dig is nothing but you need to go to the previous studies. You need to go to Google and search on the idea that you got. If you see some any other research paper, read that research papers, and you take one research paper as the base model. If some research paper says that yes, this has been done, but it is not accurate, let us say it gives only 50% accuracy, it is 50-50. So you take that research paper, you keep that research paper as the base paper, and then what you do is nothing but you keep that as base paper, and then you will be doing your experiments based on the base paper. So that I will explain the here very clearly in the later slides. So how the as a researcher, if you are writing a technical paper writing, before writing the technical paper writing, so this is how you need to think. So now a student or a teacher starts asking logical questions. Is the use of phone that distracts or just its presence? So really, if you are using phone, are you discussing? Are you distracting or not? So my volume is not clearly audible. So actually, I'm using the microphone, but still some complaints are coming on my volume. Is that it is not audible perfectly? So how can I increase the volume? Let me check. So now is that clear? Now is that clear for everyone? Increase your volume, sir. Ganesh, your audio is clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the confirmations. So the thing is, so how is that questions that comes from a researcher point of view is nothing but is the use of phone that distract or the presence itself distract the student? Do all students get distracted? Only some? Or does distraction actually affect their marks? So this is how you need to think. As a researcher, we need to think all those things. Whether you, when you are using mobile phone, do that cause, do that reflect your exams, do that reflect your presence in the class, do that reflect your interaction in the class with the faculty. So these questions will be getting by a researcher when he is working on a problem statement. Okay, instead of guessing in research paper, we need to give the evidence, we need to provide the evidence. When you are writing a research paper on a technical paper, you need to write with the evidence. Just I can say, by seeing some people who's watching phone regularly, I can say the students, that's why students are failing, or that's why students are not good in the class. I can't say, right? So by proving the evidence, so by proving the results, by proving the evidence, I need to showcase that in my research paper. So there comes the first thing. Title is nothing but I can keep some title here. So students using mobile phones affect their studies. This is my title. And after selecting the title, abstract, there comes abstract. So in abstract, abstract is a summary of the entire research paper. So it tells what the study is about. So what is the study is about? The study is about the student who is using a mobile phone in the class. What was done earlier? It was done. Okay, done. Then we got 50-50 results, but not 100% student who is using phone is failing. It is 100% false. So it is completely 50-50. What was found? So in our study, our when I researched, when I start research who is using mobile phones in the classroom, I found that most of the students are not getting the marks properly. So why it is important? So if this continues, they may lose the concentration. They may not get jobs. So this is the things you need to mention. These are the things you need to mention in the abstract. So the abstract should be strictly follow this particular rule. It should be in 150 to 250 words. Okay. So structure of an abstract background. So already what have done. So already some other researcher has done some experiments on this, but he got 50-50 chance. So phone using phone uh, by a student is not 100% that is going to fail. There is only 50% chance. So that is what the background is. The objective is nothing but I need to find whether whether this is happening correctly or not. The method is nothing but which method I am using to get these results. Key results is nothing but the result that I got, whether the student which was using mobile phone is completely distracting or not. Conclusion. So these are the things you need to mention on the abstract. This is the first method, first paragraph that when you open a research paper, you are able to see, right? Now, sample abstract that I have given here, I am not reading all those things. I am running out of the time. Now, next section, objectives of the study. So objective is nothing but why you wanted to do this research. Okay. So why I want to do research? Because many of the students are facing with backlogs. Many other students are distracting from the class. That is why I am doing this. Objective is nothing but the motivation. Okay. So how to write the objective? To analyze, to compare. You need to start the sentence in such a way. To analyze, to compare, to evaluate, to develop, to measure. So this is how the objective session looks like, and these are the objectives. Okay. Now, research objective in point of research, if you talk, so after identifying the problem, we decide our goals. So if you look into the same example that I've been given, to find out of mobile phone presence reduces student concentration. Everywhere you need to use two when you are describing objectives. Okay, to compare quiz performance between students with and without mobile visible, to observe common distraction behaviors linked to phones. Okay, these all are my objectives. Okay, in my particular study. Now, limitations. Next comes limitations. Limitations is nothing but literature background. Just now in the first unit, which I mentioned, the same thing, the same rule applicable here also. Okay, limitations are nothing but boundaries of the study. Earlier, it was only the 50-50 chance. It is not giving the 100% answer whether using mobile phone which cause student to fail or not, it is just giving the 50% accuracy. So that is what the boundary you need to mention. Factors that restrict results, situations where results may not apply. So these are the limitations. This is how we need to describe the limitations. So study limitations, if you look here, we must be honest about study limitation. Only one school was studied. So, which means earlier in the paper that I have took as the base paper, they have only studied with 40 students. Okay, which may not be familiar with 1,000 students. If the data set increases, the count may decrease or the count may increase also. But only doing with 40 students may not give the perfect answer. This is what the limitation of existing study. Itla mention cheyali మీరు. Okay. So study lasted only 1 week. So until 1 week only we have been examined. Base paper వచ్చేసి only 1 week results పైన examine చేసింది అనుకుందాం. So you need to mention that. So base paper only mentioned only for of 1 week data. So only on 1 week data we can't decide. Okay. So by taking the whole semester data can be we can decide. So our paper is using the whole 1 week data, whole one semester data. Okay. Now, review of literature. So here comes the literature. Literature survey in the sense, just now the thing I mentioned. So literature survey means the old paper is only taking the data of 40 students, but it is giving only the 50-50 accuracy. It has taken the data of 1 week. It is not sufficient to you to decide whether usage of phone is affecting the students or not. So that's why to overcome all those problems, we are using the 1,000 students data, and we are making the review or complete semester such that I can analyze easily. So this is how your literature survey, and this is what in your literature survey you should include. Okay. So this example you read, it will be very easy to understand. So problem statement. So problem statement is nothing but just now at the end, at the start of this particular syllable presentation I have been explained. So the my problem statement is nothing but students who is using frequently mobiles on the desk during lessons, and teachers believe this reduces attention. But there is limited classroom based evidence. Okay. I can't perfectly as any teacher can't say you by using by seeing you using mobile phone that you will not get 100% result in my subject. Okay, it may not be. Some if in my observation, some are using mobile phones regularly, but in at the end of the semester, if you look their marks, they'll be getting 9 and 10 points. But who is not using mobile phone, who is constantly listening my class in the classroom, he may not get 10 points. He may also fail. So we can't just decide. We need evidence to prove it. Okay. So to need that, we need this is my problem statement. This is my problem statement. So evidence all will be used, all will be done in the literature survey, and all the things that past work has done will be mentioned in literature survey. Then what we are doing, all those things will be mentioned in methodology. Then what are the results we have been acquired will be mentioning in the results section, results and discussion section. And what is the conclusion that you are making, so that will be discussed in the upcoming slides if you see here. So research questions, so these questions should arise in your minds. Okay, so does the presence of mobile reduce students concentration in class? So this question you should raise in your mind. Do students without visible phones score high? So if mobile is not allowed in the class, whether it is include, whether it improves your exam marks or not, what types of distractions occur most often when phones are present? So which type of distractions happening to the student? These questions in my mind it will be getting okay when I am doing the research. Now, if you look here, synopsis. In synopsis is nothing but a outline, or let us say contents. So a synopsis is the outline for a research project usually submitted before starting the full research. So it includes title, introduction, problem statement, objectives, methodology, expected outcomes, limitations. So this is the synopsis for a research paper. So example synopsis I mentioned here. Please read out. So this is about complete unit 2. I think is that clear for everyone? If yes, let me know in the comment section. If not, also let me know in the comment section such that I can clear the doubts. Let us finish. Let us finish it by 8:25. Dheeraj, is that clear? Thank you for the confirmation. Still any doubts? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you, Shiva, for the confirmation. Still everyone. Anyone is having any doubt? Uh, so literature survey in the sense the past work which has done on your idea. So in the abstract, you need to mention about the background, what you are doing, and what are the results you are getting. Everything you need to mention in 150 words. In introduction, same as uh, when you are in introduction also. For example, if you are going for an interview, first they ask about yourself. So which means you mention about yourself clearly, right? Same way, what the paper is, how the paper arranged, everything that will be mentioned in introduction section. And then comes methodology in the sense you are using ML model to uh, see whether this is happening or not. So you need to say how you are following that steps in methodology. By in results and discussion, you need to showcase your results, you need to highlight your results. So all those in all those sections you are writing matter. So that matter should be followed as per the first unit. So clarity, everything should be there. You need to follow the rules that was present in the first unit. So writing paper is very easy, but writing with a clarity, writing with a precision is much important. Okay. This is what about the technical paper writing. So if you are having any doubt, let me know in the comment section. If yes, if nothing, no doubt, uh, let us stop the live session. That so should I stop this session? No. So thank you guys for joining. So I'm ending up the live session. So have the dinner.